welcome back everyone. I'm here with Miss Ebony again and show you a quick, easy way to throw together a complete balanced meal.
Sounds good.
So first things first, we're going to do a quick dish of just some ginger, green beans, and tomatoes. And we're just going to saute them up real quick, give them a little steam, and they're going to be ready to go. Quick and easy. So we'll go ahead, grab these up.
Alright.
Just a little plate. Yeah, bring them all. We'll make a whole bunch. That way we got enough to share with everybody, or if you're at home alone, then you'll have some leftovers. So we're just gonna give these a rough little chop, nothing special. I already pulled the strings out of them, so they're good to go. And we're gonna get these up on our plate over here. Ebony, if you'll pass me that yellow tomato and one of the red ones. We'll add a bunch of color to it, make it look all nice and attractive.
Maybe two of the red ones are a little bit smaller.
So we'll go ahead and get the core out of this, just real quick. Give it a little twist around there. And let's go ahead and chop it up. Okay. And just in some nice big chunks. So that way the tomato's not going to break down all the way, and you'll still have big chunks of it ready to go.
Now, after you cook this, are these two tomatoes going to have like a different flavor?
Well, the texture will be different, but they're still going to have a tomato flavor.
Okay.
And it will suck up a lot because we're going to be cooking it with just some garlic and some ginger.
Okay.
So it will suck up that ginger flavor in there. And last but not least, you pass me over the ginger. Okay. Get that end off, and we're just going to pull this off some skinny little slices here.
Now, if you're like not a fan of ginger, is there anything else that you could use for this dish? I know ginger is like in the name of what
the ginger's kind of the star of this dish right here. But you could easily just saute it up with just garlic.
Okay.
I mean, that wouldn't be a problem at all. I'm gonna go ahead and break this down. And we'll go ahead and give it a little churn here real quick. And now that we get all nice and chopped up, actually we're gonna save some of this ginger for our second dish that we're gonna be doing as well, which is also gonna have ginger.
Perfect.
I'm gonna go over here and get our pan all nice and hot. We're just gonna put in about 2 teaspoons of the oil in here once the pan's hot. Quick and easy. Spread that around. You'll see it's floating around like water. And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna throw in like a good tablespoon of this ginger. And you'll see it start sizzling up. And it's just what we want. So now that ginger's in there, it's starting to brown, we're gonna get our beans in there real quick. Move those around. Whoop, tomato snuck in there. Okay, and just, you can go ahead, you can either flip it, go ahead and stir it around with a spoon or tongs, whatever you like. And then we're gonna get our tomatoes right in there on top. Get that all nice and mixed up. And then Ebony, if you will pass me the soy and the chicken stock. Now we're just gonna add a couple teaspoons of the low sodium soy up in here. Not too much, just to give it a little flavor. And then we're gonna add about a 1/4 cup of the chicken broth. Now once we get that in there, you're just gonna go ahead and cover it up and let that steam. Go ahead and cook those vegetables. In the meantime, while that's cooking down, we'll turn it over here. Now that's only gonna take like 2 minutes to steam. And after those 2 minutes, you'll see all the beans, they have a real nice bright green color. We're gonna go ahead and churn it off.
Did you want to put the garlic in now or putting that in at the end?
We'll put that in at the end just to mix it up a little bit. And that way it'll still have some of that fresh flavor to it.
Perfect.
Okay, so now for our next dish, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna make some zucchini and pork loin in like a soy basil sauce.
Sounds good.
So this, just to get started, we got some pork loin that we already took the fat off of and sliced it up real thin. We're gonna add a little bit of cornstarch to it.
And this is just to like thicken up whatever sauce we're gonna put on it?
It will thicken it up, but it's also gonna help seal the juice inside the pork.
Okay, and if you don't have cornstarch, could you use like any type of flour?
You could use flour. You could definitely use like any kind of flour, whole wheat flour,
Okay.
regular flour. It will, the texture, the end texture will be different if
Okay.
you use flour as opposed to cornstarch. The cornstarch just sucks up more of liquid
Okay.
than the flour will. So we're gonna get that, mix that up in there. I'm gonna go ahead and let that sit on the side.
Alright.
And if you'll go ahead and pass me that big old zucchini you got over there, I'll get that ready for us.
Remember picking this one out in the garden.
Uh-huh. See, we're probably not going to use all the zucchini
Okay.
because it's kind of on the big side. So we'll go ahead and put that back over there. And we're going to go ahead and break it down. And I am going to leave this in some fairly big chunks over here. Just so when it cooks up, it still has texture to it and it's
Okay.
not completely mushy.
And then the nice thing is probably with the other side, you could probably still do like the zucchini boat or something like that because this is still fairly large.
Uh-huh. Let's see. Go ahead and break this one down. Okay, got that going. Okay, so we'll get that on the side. And if you'll pass me the onion and give me one of those jalapenos, and we'll go ahead and
We're adding a little
we'll make this.
fire.
Make it a little spicy today. Not too spicy, but just a little bit.
Alright, a little bit of heat.
Okay, so let's see, get this all peeled out, ready to go. Okay, and we are only going to use half of this because we want the zucchini to be the star of the dish here. Okay, so slice up these onions real quick. Get those to the side over here, and then we'll do our jalapeno.
Now, is there any tricks to doing jalapeno?
I will always just say if I don't want it too spicy, I'll go ahead and I'll take out the pith and the seeds, and that's where most of the heat is
Okay.
in there. So you can do that if you want. If you're real sensitive, you can go ahead and put gloves on or whatever, but I don't worry too much.
Okay. Well, you're the pro.
I like the heat, so I'll go ahead and take those out, and then I am gonna slice these up real thin as well. Give them a nice little julienne. Okay. Now, in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and turn these beans off because they're ready over here. Like I said, it's quick and easy. And you'll see they're nice and bright. Got lots of color up in there. And you do want to make sure, don't go ahead and leave the lid on too long because the beans will overcook and they'll start getting a darker color, and we want them fresh and crisp.
Okay.
Just so we can enjoy that fresh flavor that we got from off of the farm.
Perfect.
Okay, so now let's go ahead. We got our other frying pan up, ready to go over here. We're gonna add about a tablespoon of oil in here. And we're gonna go and get that oil mixed around everywhere. Now that it's nice and hot, we're ready to go with our pork. So we're gonna go ahead and get that in there. There we go. Get it all mixed around up in here. And you see I got it nice and thin, so it's gonna go ahead and cook fairly quickly. Spread that out a little bit.
And now, could you use like a chicken for this as well?
You could easily use chicken for this,
Okay.
or beef.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna cook this pork till it's almost done and complete, and then I'm gonna pull it out and we'll put it back in at the end of the dish. This way I'm getting some of that pork flavor here on the bottom of the pan, so when we go ahead and cook our vegetables, we're gonna incorporate all that flavor already into the vegetables. So we're actually using the meat to season our vegetables. I would say it's about 3/4 of the way done. I'm gonna go ahead and just pull it out over here. Okay, now while that's going, we're we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna toss our ginger in here and our onions and start cooking that up. And if you'll pass me the garlic over there.
And so you don't have to add any more oil to that?
No, you'll have to check and see. If your pan is really dry, then go ahead and add like maybe like another teaspoon or so, but you won't really need too much. Okay. We're just gonna start these onions cooking a little bit. Not too much. We don't want to need them to get translucent. So this way they still have some crunch to them at the finished dish. And then we're gonna toss our zucchini up in there. Start getting this going. We're just gonna let that start cooking up on one side up in here. And then finally we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna toss our jalapeno up in there to give it a little bite to it.
Okay.
We'll go ahead and mix those in there. Now we're going to go ahead and create our sauce for this.
Alright, this is my favorite part. I love a good
you'll
sauce.
Pass me some of that basil over here real quick.
Okay.
And some of those scallions.
Alright, I don't know how much basil you want. A little bit more?
Yeah, give me a little bit more.
Okay. A little bit more basil, a couple of scallions.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go ahead and get this ready. And just give a nice little julienne this basil up. Nice and small. And then we'll go ahead and take our scallions. Remember, you can always save the tips of the scallions and go ahead and replant these. And they'll pop out some new scallions for you. And then we'll go ahead and chop these up. These I don't like to cut too thin because I do like that little bite of some fresh scallion in there. Okay. And we will come back over here and give a little stir. Okay. Now we got this going. You will go ahead and pass me over the soy sauce. And the low sodium chicken broth we got over there.
Okay. Soy sauce.
So I'm going to go ahead and add about another tablespoon of this soy. And then we're going to add about a tablespoon of the honey. Just to sweeten it up a little bit, not too much. And then we're going to add a quarter cup of our low sodium chicken broth over here.
So the honey will be probably the counterbalance to the heat.
Yes. We'll sit there, balance it off, so it will be spicy, but not too burn in your mouth. And once you got that liquid in there, go ahead and with either your spoon or your tongs, rub it against the bottom of the pan to pull off any of that pork that was on there. Okay, so we got that nice and mixed up. And you'll see the zucchini is starting to get a little translucent on the outside. And that's exactly what we want. We got most of that pulled off the bottom. We're gonna go ahead and put our pork back in. Mix it up. Okay, got that going nice and good. Once we got that all in there, we're gonna go ahead and we'll toss our basil and our scallions up in there. So, get those in there. Make sure we get them all. And then we're gonna go ahead and mix those in there and let it cook down for about another minute or so. Make sure that pork's cooked all the way through, and you'll let that flavor from the basil and the scallions just seep into everything. Okay, now while that's cooking away, we'll go ahead and we'll start getting our plate ready to go. Okay, now to make sure you get a nice whole balanced plate, we're gonna be serving this with, I have some brown rice over here. When you're going looking for a general serving of rice, you don't want any more than a cup of cooked rice. So we'll get our rice up in there. We're actually going to do like about 3/4 of a cup here. Okay, I'm going to pack it in there a little bit. Then I'll go ahead and pop it out onto my plate. There we go. You got a nice little rice ball on there for you. And then we'll come back over here. give the zucchini and the pork one more little stir. Get it all nice and mixed up. And then we're going to go ahead and start plating up our ginger, green beans,
now,
and tomatoes.
Before you do that, did you want to toss the garlic on there?
No, I think we'll leave it out and just let the ginger be the star of this.
Perfect.
Okay, get ourselves some nice vegetables up there. Lots of
so
nice bright colors up in there. And then we'll go ahead and get our pork and our zucchini up in there. We'll get all that nice flavor from that pork. And the zucchini up there. It's got that nice soy basil flavor up in there. And voila, there you go. You got a great little meal. If you want to make it a little prettier, we can go ahead.
Let's make it fancy.
Okay, we'll make it a little pretty. We're gonna throw on just a little bit of sesame seeds on there. Get a little more Asian feel to it over our green beans.
Perfect.
And there you go, quick, easy. You got some whole grains there with your brown rice. You got tons of vegetables that are farm fresh, all your zucchini and your green beans and all those tomatoes, and just a little bit of pork. So you got a complete balanced meal. It's gonna be real filling and great taste. Ready to try a little bit?
That's my favorite part. That is why
That's why we bring her down here. She's our official taste tester.
All right, let's see. I want to definitely get some of this tomato in here too. The green beans still have a nice so they're still crispy. They're not like soggy like after you boil them or anything.
No, it's a whole different world. When you're dealing with fresh green beans, the texture and the taste is completely different than either canned or frozen or any kind of preserved one. It's almost like a whole different vegetable.
All of that is really good. And it's 20 minutes and we were...
Yeah, not even 20 minutes.
Yeah, start to finish.
And it's ready to go. As long as you got all your ingredients chopped and ready to go, the actual cooking time is maybe 5 minutes for everything.
Yeah, that is really good. Did it again.
Thank you very much. So, thanks for coming and being here with us. You can find these recipes on our Facebook page or on our Instagram.
Yep.
Thanks. Have a great afternoon.
Bye.